Hello and welcome to Magical Witchy. I am Starr Ravenhawk, and my regular partner in crime, Rhonda Alin, is not here with me tonight. But I would love to have you guys. Glad to have you guys join us here tonight. And tonight we are proud to welcome Phoenix Coffin-Williams with us on Magical Witchy World TV. Hello, Phoenix. I can't see you, hon. We're not seeing you. There you
You can't see me?
are. There you are. Good to have you join us tonight.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, wait to really have you here. And I wanted to before we kind of go into a lot about Phoenix, I want you guys to listen to his amazing bio of all his accolades. So, Phoenix Coffin-Williams has worked as a musician and composer for over 20 years. His experience hold on. Sorry. Hold on one second. Okay. Reverend Phoenix is a native upstate New Yorker. He has been in the craft as his sexuality and source of freedom since around 19. He has a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Buffalo. Additionally, Phoenix has a master's in clinical mentoring degree in a radical liberal arts college in Vermont. Phoenix was initiated into the high priesthood of the following WitchesFest in 2014. As of March 3rd this year, Phoenix was named First Priest Regent of the Correllian tradition, succeeding Reverend Don Lewis-Highcorrell's retirement in office. Phoenix is interested in combining the therapy and spirituality in a social justice kind of way and enjoys teaching from those contexts. Wow. I'm so proud of you. Happy. Congratulations. That is just wonderful.
Thank you.
All this month. A lot of great things happen in this month, right? Awesome. That is all right. So actually I met you at WitchesFest, right? I forgot which year we met was that in 2014, like you said? Oh wow.
Yes, it was.
It's been a while, hasn't it? And he has been pretty much as often as you can. You try to come almost every year, which I'm really grateful for, because you bring a lot of wisdom, and that's awesome. And but it's nice. He's coming again. Happy. Okay. So we're very glad here, and kind of wondering a few things about you, because looking forward to this conversation. Many years, a lot of us kind of refer to ourselves as different things, or and change. So what I would like to do is kind of hear from yourself, what has changed over the years for you right now.
Yeah, that's such a great question, because I personally believe that identity is such a fluid kind of thing. And over the years, I've been someone's son, someone's brother. I've been really embracing the identity of uncle. I've got nieces everywhere now. Like, all my siblings are having grandchildren.
Yeah.
So that's great. Of course, witch, magician, priest, activist, student, leader, are all kinds of identities that I've gone through. And right now, I think what I really am is hopeful and full of faith.
Awesome.
I'm working
awesome.
real hard to maintain that connection to my spirituality as I move into like this greater leadership role.
Wow, I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. I think you've grown so much since I first met you in 2014. So it's wonderful to see that whole evolution happening. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So kind of wondering what brought you to the world of the witch, of being that, that role that you're in now, the kind of, the whole kind of coming forward with it.
Hmm. Gotta be honest, I was definitely looking for a lot of freedom. My family, kind of devout Catholic. There's a little bit of gray area in there in what they practice or what we practice as a family. But like on the surface, it's very Catholic. And so growing up being very queer, that did not sit right with me. So I needed to find a place where I could practice in according to my spirit. And that freedom and that balance between the genders really drew me to Wicca. And then
Right.
also, I like that it was forbidden and that my family was like, oh my goodness, witchcraft. I was like, that's what I want. Oh, y'all don't like that? I want that.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that
You-
rebellion, and there was that little bit of like that search for freedom that really got me like into the craft.
Right, right. And it isn't that funny because that happens if you tell us not to do something, that's exactly what we're going to try to do because you told us not to. It's
Hmm.
something that's, it's that mystic, that mystery.
Hmm.
Anyways, so from your point of view, what does it mean to be a witch? And I guess depending on um yeah, yeah, kind of, what does it mean for you? Like how do you see it for you?
Yeah. At this point, I am willing to say that I believe wholeheartedly that being a witch for me is accountability for my path and what I experience, and being the one to kind of dictate what that turns into, whether that's triumph or whether that's struggle. Like I have to be accountable for that, and I have to use like literally every tool or resource that I have, that's available to me to kind of make that experience and then spirit
Wow.
make sure that the folks around me aren't suffering because of the experience that I want to have. So that's like the other.
Right, right, right. That's awesome. And I just noticed that there's somebody said something that should look at what they may have said. Um, okay. Okay. Welcome everyone. Um, oh, Dark Moon Spirit and all of them are here. Yeah. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to move on. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of ask you was, as you actually know, before I even ask you that, you said something that was so interesting. You said accountability for yourself. That is such a huge thing today because you watch all around you and you see nothing. Adults of all levels not accepting responsibility. They're all blaming everybody else that they could think of. They
Mhm.
are, they're absolutely not willing to take responsibility or accountability for anything.
Mhm.
They'll blame anything. They'll find anything to blame rather respond that. So it's with it. I'm glad and it's good to hear you saying that accountability part. That's a big deal because that's one of the things it gives us that even that, and you and I both know. Tell me if you don't see it, that a lot of witches or Wiccans or whatever they want to call themselves in the magical world do not accept accountability or responsibility for their actions. They just don't. They want to be like if they want to call themselves these magical words or titles, but they're still not willing to accept accountability for it. So when you said it, I was like, trigger word for me. So thank you.
Oh
I
yeah.
love hearing that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So you kind of bit, but kind of elaborate a bit more about how magic plays a part of your lifestyle.
Hmm. It's basically my breath at this point. Wake up, check in with the ancestors at the altar before I even make it to the bathroom to brush my teeth, and kind of like
Awesome.
check in with my star players, so to speak, with grandma and grandpa and aunties and uncles and all those people. I do
Awesome.
utilize magic for like weird decision making. So I use magic to determine what kind of car I should buy. Way back when I was trying to buy a vehicle, I use magic to determine whether or not I should accept certain jobs or positions for money or for pay. Sometimes I use magic to help determine whether or not I charge for certain kind of services or whether or not they're given as an offering to spirit for that time. I use magic, scrying, and reflective techniques to help me recognize whether or not I have been a little shit for the day, or if I need to apologize to someone, or if someone owes me an. What else? So crazy. This past Yule and Christmas, there was a ridiculous storm in Buffalo, and we all lost power for about 3 days.
I remember that.
Yes. Fun fact, a witch with candles made it happen. Every single last one of those I had made it work. I only had my gas stove, no lights, no electricity, none of that. All those candles, they were going to be for spells. Now they were for keeping me like entertained and legit during a storm. And so I thought that was like pretty cool.
That is so awesome, because it kind of reminds you a bit of how people would say, we're always prepared when the lights go out, because I don't care who we are as magical practitioners, if the lights go out, all the candles come out, and we got tons. We don't even have to go to the store, whereas most people have to go to the store. We're like, nope, we got it packing. We got it everywhere. We will find, if it's a knob, we've got it, a load of it, so that's kind of cool. And it is part of the lifestyle, right? Because that whole magical part plays for everything, so it's all cool. That is great. And yeah, you're right. This past winter has been bad for a lot of areas. Even California, what was that, a few days ago, had 8-9 feet of snow. 8-9 feet of snow. And I was in Mount Shasta. Yeshe was saying that she's showing me on through her cameras, look at it, Starr, look at the 9 feet of snow. I'm like, wow, because she lives on Mount Shasta in California. I'm like, Mother Earth is saying, okay, my time is here. Screw you all.
And that's the other thing, right? That's the other way that magic plays a role in my life, because I definitely pay attention to all these things when I'm making choices about what I'm about to be doing.
Yeah. It's great. So what do you find important? You probably had, as you grew and evolved, things that were more important to you before, and now some of those things may have lessened, and now you've moved on to other things that are way more important to you as you grew, so I would love to hear some of that.
Yeah. So early on, I felt it was extremely important to be seen by other people who were in the community, to be seen, and I'm talking when I'm 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. I thought it was very important to be seen doing magic, to be seen at magical events, to be heard, talking like a witch or so on and so forth. Now I almost don't want anybody to see me, so I can be left alone and just like do the value part that's the component of my ministry and my spirituality. So like at this point, I almost don't want anybody to see me. I want to be left alone so I can go to the mission, so I can see my people, so I can provide my support, so I can give my rides, so I can do my advocacy, and then just like go home and have some tea and go to bed. I do love like big pomp and circumstance, but right now almost the most authentic part about being a priest and a minister is actually like that one-to-one or that group interaction with people who actually need some kind of assistance. That's kind of what I would rather be doing with my time and energy right now.
Yeah. The thing is that, like you said before, you wanted to be seen and heard, and you were so seen and heard that now there's so much in your face that you want to kind of pull back. And you find yourself at different times wanting to pull back or go somewhere away from everyone. And you really can't, because it's such a focal point of your life that you can't really step back. It's just what it is. You have to write. This is your path throughout this lifetime. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. That we all kind of have to see that. I'm kind of taking you back a bit to something you said earlier, about even when it comes to payment, like seeing where you should charge or not charge. That's kind of an issue for me with people, because I think they have a tendency to see us as, well, you're witches, you don't have to be charged for anything, because witches never charged or whatever. And that's a whole other conversation. But it always makes me like angry, because I'm like, how dare you, because And they're like, well, you have a gift. I'm like, well, lawyers and doctors, they all have a gift too, which they honed and they learned, they paid money for, and so did we. And we've earned that right and everything else. And I think they forget how things were. It never was for free. This is how the village witch or whatever survived. Everybody took care of her, all of her needs in the house and everything. So she didn't, that was the payment. There was always a form of payment. But people have, as we came through modern times, I have no idea why they think these new construct of things that they have, I'm just sitting there going, like, how are you even thinking this in your mindset, But I'm like, to each his own, go on with your bad self. It's okay with me. But, I'm glad that you brought it up, because I said I had to kind of come back to that. Like you found some of that, right?
Yeah, got to do that fairly take and fairly give. And I think that a lot of people
And I
are
understand that.
afraid of maybe misconstruing what it means to accept money for the work.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you too well. Sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Right. Yeah, I can hear you. You just went out for a minute. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we are not building mega churches. We are not Joel Osteen trying to have multi-million dollar. Like, we are out here providing counseling, providing services, providing help for people who are in need. And like, if you don't want to pay cash, tell me in advance. I might accept a plate of food. But there does have to be an exchange for what we're doing. I have to give my spirits offerings for continued access to their gift. Like, help me out here while I do.
Yeah, I don't think they understand that whole exchange method, that there has to be something given to receive, and I just don't get it, But they have this whole thing about it where people have it, doctrines of it written of where they're not supposed to, and I'm like, okay, then you guys do that. I will not be in your world part with that, and you kind of move on, We can't. It's just not done that way. Anyways, so now that we've had our little rant about that. I'm gonna take you back. I see. Hold on one second. I see. It looks like somebody said something in the chat. Let me see if it's something that maybe they have a question. I don't know. Chat, and then I'll come back to. Okay, no, that's it. If there are any questions at all that you guys have in any way, please let us know. Okay. Yeah. So going back to ask you about what do you consider important to you?
It's a big question because it depends on the situation.
I know it sounds simple, right? But it's not.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the situation. Right now, family, career, job, all that stuff, super duper important to me. But like safety, food, also very important. Equity is very important. Women's rights, Black women's rights, very important, top of the list. Hunger, climate change, very important to me. Very important to make sure that I have time and energy for things like that. And making sure that like the people around me have enough, and there's as little suffering as possible is very important to me.
Right. So yeah, that's like a broad spectrum of social justice in every sense of the word. And I don't think that people realize even the other things coming up, whether it's Roe v. Wade, LGBTQ, whatever it is, it all stems from, if they don't first solve the racism part, the other parts are never going to be solved. It's always going to be brought forward. It's always going to be whatever until they solve that first main one of the Black lives being mattered. It's never going to be solved with the other things. But you pick your battles and you kind of go forward as much as you can. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the community and you, like, around you, your type of community that you have or you're creating, that kind of a thing. So what goes on with some of that?
In Buffalo, on like the local, there's so I have the Temple of Holistic Knowledge that's here in Buffalo. It's got a great energy. And we've partnered up with a really wonderful shop in the area. And so through that shop, we've been able to do all of our sabbats. And me and my partner, Antimony, we've picked up doing all of the full moons for the past year. And then
Oh, wow.
additionally, for the past year, I've been doing a magic and mental health meetup group at the same location where we're able to discuss the various kinds of magical technologies that we have and how we can use them to kind of combat symptoms related to mental illness and promote, movement towards wellness and actualization. So those things have been super exciting.
Right.
On
That's
the
interesting.
yeah, it is. It's so
Yeah.
interesting.
No. It's like you mentioned certain parts of it, and I'll have you finish your statement. But that mental health part, it's become, I think, it's almost like exploded in the U.S. more so than anywhere else in the world. It's a recognizing of the fact that there are a lot more people that needs to be helped in the mental health section.
Mm-hmm.
And things that they're calling mental health has nothing to do with mental health at all. It's just that the arrogance of whatever it is they like. Like I'm referring to like the mass shootings and stuff. That's not mental health. I'm sorry, because if you're arrogant enough to go and do it, travel to other states and do it, and some of them getting away with it. I'm just like, okay, no, that's not mental illness. They're
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
that's a real high level of functioning right there.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not mental illness. So, but blaming it on that is just, that's another pet peeve of mine.
Fair enough.
But yes, go ahead, sweetie, with what you were saying about that with the community.
Yeah. So that's the local level. On the more like national level, I am working on getting other pagan magical practitioners together who also have some kind of interest or education in mental health. And I've been working on putting up like various pop-up conferences. So over the past couple of years, I've done Intimate Partner Violence Awareness Month. I've done World AIDS Day.
Wow,
What else have I
that's a
done?
lot on
Yeah.
its own. That's a lot. Are you kidding? And you're going like, what else? I'm like, okay.
There's like a few. I can't even think of them right now. There was a few other things that I had have done that are more like the conference wise. Having people with pagan or intersect and other kind of like intersectional voices like weigh in on these issues.
Right.
And so I was able to get Lilith Dorsey to come in a few times. Um, who else? Danielle Ellis. Um, there's some people from my tradition who've participated. I've gotten some people from the New York State Department of Health to come and present because I think that our pagan clergy, our Wiccan clergy, our magical clergy are in a great place to be able to impact the community on these issues. We have a
Right.
lot of people who are some form of queer. So having information on STI testing and counseling, HIV, PrEP, options counseling for birth control. I think that our pagan events, our Wiccan and magical events are a great, place to kind of also have this crossover of information to serve the
Right.
community in
Right.
multiple ways. So that's kind of
Yeah.
been like the campaign that I've been on.
Wow, that's so great. It kind of slides right into, like, or segues into my next question, which was like, what would you like to see us as witches accomplish? And I think you went right into it there with some of that, or if you have anything else that you think that you want to see us accomplish, I think that would be wonderful.
I think that if a bunch of covens got trained in Narcan training and worked on curbing the opioid epidemic, I think that would be a great use of our community resources together.
And that sounds great too, because there's so much of that, the abuse of opioids or different things. Then, it has its good and its bad point. Good as in meaning um, people being aware more of it and things like that. But then on the other hand, look what the destruction it does with a lot of people who abuse it, which I find amazing. People of all walks of life and the abuse of
Mm-hmm.
it. And then you have people who are like myself who need certain types of, like, I need Tylenol, codeine fours, and they give it to me sparingly because they're like, well, we're afraid that you'll get addicted to it. I'm like, I'm not an addictive personality. I've been using it since I was 18 because I have migraines or different things, and I've never been addicted to it. So it, they kind of judge everybody with a broad spectrum, across it. And that's not something that they should do. They should do it individually, because we're not all the same. We all have different personalities and how we do different things. But yeah, it is out of control. So I can see why they feel like they need to put it down. I wish they would do the same thing about gun control. I mean, I love guns. I have my guns and I've got my bullets and everything. So I'm all gung ho for it. But at the same time, come on. It's something is out of control in the US about it. But anyways. But that's, yeah, you're right. All of those things are great things that I think we need to do with the accomplishment part and all of that. With that said, what projects do you have coming up, or events that you're going to be doing this year?
I will be going to the Parliament of the World's Religions in August.
Wow, awesome.
I'm hoping to be at WitchesFest, of course, in July.
Right.
I know Buffalo has a Pagan Pride in September. I know I'm going to Nashville's Pagan Pride in October.
Awesome.
I think I will be at Sirius Rising for a little bit this summer, at least for 3 days. But that's it. I need to get back.
That's a lot of traveling. That's a lot. That's awesome. You see, this is what you meant by you want it to be seen and heard. Well, you've seen and heard. And okay, so we wanted to kind of let people know, how to get a hold of you. Could you let us know so that we could, pass that on? We'll also put it in the chat for everyone.
Absolutely. You can all, of course, find me on Facebook, Phoenix Coffin-Williams. You can also hit me up on the Blue Door Events, CNT.com. That is where I do a lot of my educating, helping Wiccan pagan clergy become pastoral counselors who want to get jobs in hospitals or community-based organizations. I have a certified program for people who want to be magical clergy and who want to be certified in some counseling techniques and some ways to use what we do to help folks. So I go through the side by side. This is what our insurance companies are looking for. These are the things that we do that qualify. These are the things that we are allowed to do legally. These are the things that we are not allowed to do. And here are a bunch of therapeutic techniques that you can learn from to help out your healing ministry. All that happens at the Blue Door. That's my big, the big project.
Right. That's awesome. And you guys have his information. Again, you want to repeat how to get a hold of you, because we want to make sure that they know that. And we put it in the chat for anyone that needs it.
Yeah, so hit me up, the Blue Door Events, CNT.com.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. And we would, I think you're coming back with us at the Racism Community Feedback, I believe, on April 21st. And you're going to be at WitchesFest. So I can't wait to see you again. And thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. So now it's our astrology time. So I kind of have a bit of things, and again, I'm the only one doing it here tonight. So last week we told you how the Jupiter conjunct Chiron affects the collective in general, and we gave you a bit of history as well. This week we're going to talk about how it will affect you personally and how you could possibly help yourself. And especially now that the Jupiter conjunct Chiron began on the 12th, so we can, help you guys utilize or the combined energies of these two planets, which will be in the range all the way through May, but will because of the 3rd and the 8th degree orb that I spoke to you guys about last week, the effects of it can be felt all the way through April 25th. So it kind of gives you guys a bit of time to work with this very powerful portal that has been unlocked for our benefit. And I know people are saying it's just unlocking anyways, but we are going to say it's for our benefit because that's who we are. All right. So to begin with, for you to discover your true potential during this Jupiter Chiron conjunction, I want you to kind of set up some goals for yourself. And some of it could be done in the next up to the next 14 years, because that's when it comes back again. You know what I mean? So first, identify your passions and interests. Ask yourself certain questions like, what naturally attracts and energizes you? Write that down. See what, some of the things that you want to work on for the next 14 years. What topics or activities bring you joy and true fulfillment, your passion, that kind of a thing. And once you've identified your passions and interests, you kind of set some specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound SMART goals so that you can help stay focused and motivated. Because if you set things like how at New Year's, you kind of go, I want to do this, this, and that this year, and then none of that's done. So you want to make it relevant, make it measurable, and be specific so that you can, and achievable. That's one of the biggest ones, so that you can actually see yourself achieving it, and you're staying on focus, and you're motivated. It motivates you to be able to accomplish these things. So next, I want you to look for ways to expand your knowledge and skills, whether it's education, training of some kinds, hands-on experience, mentoring, I don't know, what do you call it, at the internships and things like that. Anything that you can think of, attending workshops, being a role model. Phoenix Coffin mentioned being that as well. So some of those things. Embrace challenges, take some risks, stand up for things that matter to you, and decide that when they matter. Stand up for it. Don't look for the next person to do it, because you'll be that first one out there. Get out there and do it. Stand up for it. Discover your strengths, resilience, and your courage. And I want you to think about what you have learned and accomplished, and how you've grown as a human being throughout certain times in your journey so far of self-discovery and growth. Okay? That's all part of some of the goals with that. For you personally, I want you to make sure to look at your natal or birth chart, however you call it. Okay? And we're going to look at things that you could kind of healing things that you can work on, okay, during this time, between now and the 25th of April. Let's see, you can help yourself to this potent miracle like healing energy by letting it permeate throughout the deepest corners of your mind, body, and soul. It's going to do that anyways and expose you to things. So you might as well allow it, open yourself up to receiving it. You could work on serious healing things like physically, mentally, spiritually. We just mentioned when we were speaking about the mental illness rise in this country. So a lot of that, and a lot of it, your spirituality pays off with it as well. So, even the wounds we never thought we would recover from, and you meet many people in our lives that, whether you counsel them or not, you meet them and they have things that they think will never be recovered or cured, and you need to have them help them with that. Any battle scars and wounds that you thought could not be healed before, this is the time. All of these this is the time, that portal that opened up for us, so we can work on these things. The opioid crisis, all of it, work on these things. We can heal our identity, restore courage and strength, and learn to trust our intuition and instincts. If something tells you not to be there, or run, or whatever it is, or guide you in different ways, let it be there. Let it guide you. Don't ignore them. Look at the house that you're in on your chart, on your birth or natal chart, and it will show you the areas in your life where the wounding happened, where that occurred. Whatever that you may think it's hidden, it's there. So look at your chart and it will show you. It will show you also where it's most beneficial for you to be healing. And your sign itself, your birth sign itself, reveals which qualities are hurt, and also that how you can work on it, how you can work on healing it. All right. Then when we move on, let's see how the Jupiter conjunct Chiron in your natal thing works out for you, or things that you may encounter. Let's see, you may encounter trauma related to spirituality. And a lot of people we meet, we know that happens. An unconscious belief that money is bad, or that it leads to trauma, even excruciating pain, which would affect you greatly if you want to live in abundance. So all your magical spells that you're doing and things like that is not going to quite work out properly for you, because you're not allowing this part to be healed. And a lot of people have trauma and pain and how it affects them when it comes to money and being prosperous or abundance. And then they wonder how come things are not succeeding in that side of it. You need to heal and work on that. which can bring about it will bring about money struggles, making you see financial abundance as basically unattainable. With all the spells you're doing and everything, it still feel like it's unattainable or possibly bad on an unconscious level. You know what I mean? Your optimism and faith can also be hurt by a traumatic event that wounded you deeply. As Jupiter represents things that make life easier, like abundance, wealth, spirituality, education, it can make you anxious or pessimistic. Again, because I mentioned to you, because of different wounds or things that we have that we need to work on, the wealth part, or being traumatized by spirituality before, or lack of education, or things like that. So it can bring you great wisdom and power so you can help others going through the same hardship, but you cannot help others if you don't first help yourself. So work on that. It also helps with giving you the ability to heal and overcome pain with wisdom and philosophy. So some people who have the Jupiter conjunct Chiron in their natal aspect, in their natal chart, would find great spiritual healing. It can also give you the ability to turn pain to be it to allow it to be your biggest motivator. Okay. Some of the dangers, and there are going to be some. There's always a good and a bad to everything. And but it's good to be forewarned, right? Some dangers and challenges that you may face with the Jupiter Chiron conjunction are which can be complex, but they can also be opportunities for you to grow and transform. You can emerge more robust and self-aware by facing these challenges with resilience and determination and perseverance, sorry. Lots of transition and upheaval as you seek new opportunities and experiences. Just adjust and adapt to each unique circumstance. You can do this. Sometimes you fail to see real dangers, so I want you to look out for that. Don't allow yourself to be in the clouds and say, I'm pulling this card, I'm doing this spell, and not realize that there are mundane things in life that will affect you. You have to stay steadfast to that. It can sometimes manifest as a feeling of worthlessness, sometimes leading to self destructive behavior. You can feel that life has no meaning and that the universe doesn't care about you. And we see that on a daily basis from people. And sometimes you are afraid to take up space in the world, sometimes leading to suicide. And there's a mass increase in that. And so we have to, see what we can do to help ourselves as well as others with that. Another thing that is also the Jupiter and Chiron, which is that healing portal that's open right now, because it's going to stir up any kind of wounds, whether it's with your destiny or your life path or any kind of wounds mentally, physically, all of that. Work on things like removing any of the guilt, shame, and blame around any painful wounds that we may be carrying, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, all of those things. Guilt, shame, and blame, those things are very, what you call it? It will keep a person stunted, stagnant, and it will also keep you immobilized. You're not able to mobilize yourself and move forward with things because you're kind of stuck. So I don't want you if you work on those things, I want you to see like that. Okay. Jupiter also helps us to focus on that silver lining, see the light at the end of the tunnel, and how can we make most of where we stand. It tells you how to stay open to the glass half full rather than the glass half empty side of things. So it keeps you hopeful and keeps you moving through those challenges. And sometimes, it's just life. There's no sugarcoating things, but acknowledge the darkness can help us ask the questions that what's next? What can we do next? What can we help ourselves with next? So when we can question what is next, we can fill it with a bit of hope, a bit of laughter, and lots of love. And perhaps we can welcome the idea that even though we are wounded and bruised, we still deserve to live a beautiful life. We can still go on and find happiness and hope and meaning in our lives. Okay. And yes, there are reasons for that portal opening up, Jupiter and Chiron coming together in Aries. This is that wonderful opportunity so that you can welcome for the healing, all those areas that I mentioned before to you. Okay. We are here for a reason, all of us on this planet, to fulfill our human potential. Fulfilling our potential is very hard. We know that. If it was easy, we wouldn't have come here. Yet it is non-negotiable, hence the word of, that use of the word must. What can one do? What, and so instead we say what one must do. Okay? So you kind of, or what can one be? You as that person, what can you be? And instead of saying what can I be, you say what must I be? Okay? That kind of a thing. you don't have a choice with things, so you might as well face it up with it and make yourself grow with wisdom and and knowledge. And one of the things that the key things that you have to take from your natal chart where Chiron is concerned, every planet, every sign, every makes use of Chiron. It's in your charting. Okay, so from the very beginning, we are all preconditioned to Chiron in our sign. So we might as well, fess up, stand up to it, and allow it to do that healing that it needs to do, and come to your full potential in life. Okay, and being human, yes, we know it's hard. So step out of Saturn's ring, which is very difficult. Yet we all know deep inside that there is something on the other side, and this knowing won't let us live until we do the things that we need to do. And again, keep in mind that Chiron is in our natal chart, so we are all wounded by design. Okay, and I'm going to go straight from that and pull a card for us. Okay, hold on. All righty, so let's see. I am going to be doing this and see. Let's see what have we got. Let's see what card is coming out for you guys on this. Okay. Oh my goodness. I think I had him before. I'm not sure. But, I've got the King of Pentacles. Interesting, right? I don't know if you guys can see it properly. The King of Pentacles. And if you're looking at it, he's sitting well, but he's being, contemplative, and he's holding on to that pentacle like a sword of shield protection. And there's all abundance around him, and he's sitting on a beautiful purple and golden seat. And he's letting you know that, yes, it comes with great wisdom and knowledge and all the things that we'll gain from it, but we can accomplish so much, and a lot of it, if you look at what the Chiron, Jupiter in Chiron conjunct is all about, and it being in Aries, this is so apropos. It's just amazing. It's giving you great insight into who you are, that you can accomplish these things if you allow yourself to grow and do it. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of look at it, and if you can pull on your own decks, the King of Pentacles, see what's there for you personally, and work with it from there. But to me, that's a great card for so precise with what the Jupiter conjunct Chiron in Aries is all about. Okay, and I want you guys to join us Fridays at 10 p.m. And we love seeing you guys Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we're going to be welcoming Fred Dark Moon on Friday, March 24th.
It's a magical witchy world.
Righty. Thank you all for being with us tonight. And even though Rhonda is not here, we want to thank you from both of us for being with us tonight. And thank Phoenix Coffin-Williams for being with us here tonight. It was wonderful having you. And please like and subscribe to us on YouTube and on Facebook in order for us to keep bringing you more of these shows. See you all next week. Please take care of yourselves, okay?